what I'm going to say, I have no script. I have no real thought process of how I can truly word this. I'm going to do my best, but here it is. Charlie Kirk was no hero. Charlie Kirk, I will say this, did not deserve what happened to him. I will say that. I am not a fan of people who have made jokes about what happened to him. You know, for someone like me who has called for gun reform, who has called for red flag laws, background checks, and even agreeing that we should have an assault rifle ban, I am not someone who cheers on about what happened to Charlie Kirk. However, I am not someone that's going to mourn over the loss of Charlie Kirk. Charlie Kirk was not a good person. Charlie Kirk worked for so long to cause hatred, separation, and division and racism upon this country. For so long, that's what he worked for. And pardon me if I don't want to applaud that type of behavior. You have so many people out there that are going out of their way to say, oh, he was just a man who was using his freedom of speech. And yeah, sure, you use your freedom of speech, but what do you use it for? Do you use it for hate, or do you use it for good? Do you use it to unite, or do you use it to separate? You see, Charlie Kirk would go out of his way. He was questioned by a woman on the debates that he likes to do, but he doesn't really debate. In the clips that I've always seen from Charlie Kirk, all he does is, dude, you're so wrong, you're so wrong, you're so wrong, you know nothing. How is that debating? You wonder why we live in such a divided country, because people, when they want to talk, nobody's listening. Nobody's listening. But Charlie Kirk would go out of his way, and let me get back to the topic, I'm sorry, where a woman said to him, if your daughter, let's say, was 10 years old and she got raped, and she had to carry her rapist baby to term, what would you do? And Charlie Kirk's first response was, well, that's pretty graphic. And the woman's like, no, yeah, I understand, but that's what happens. And it's true. It does happen. And Charlie Kirk said, then the baby would be delivered. His daughter would not even get a choice on what to do. His daughter probably wouldn't even understand about what is happening because she would be too young, 10 years old. Now, it's a graphic situation. I get it. And nobody wants to think about that. But Charlie Kirk would make his daughter carry the baby, according to him. Charlie Kirk went out of his way that certain deaths by guns are required, are an unfortunate requirement for us to be able to have our Second Amendment. Rather than just people just calling for some basic gun reform. No, just they're necessary casualties for the greater good. Charlie Kirk went out of his way to say that if he saw a black pilot, he'd wonder, are they even qualified for this job? There are so many other clips out there that I guarantee that I probably have not seen, and those are just some of the most popular ones that I have seen going around. Charlie Kirk worked for so long to create separation, division, hatred. Who else does that sound like? Yes, Donald Trump. But I am just so sick and tired of people just going out there trying to talk about he was just some champion of the people. He wasn't. He was not. And I'm not going to be unapologetic for the words that I say. Charlie Kirk was not a good person. And how do people respond in his aftermath? Rather than trying to calm the flames down, because again, what happened to Charlie Kirk shouldn't have happened. It was wrong and unjust. But what did they do? You on the left, you Democrats, you liberals, they immediately start pointing the finger at us. And guess what? It wasn't even us. It was someone from a conservative household who apparently had said he didn't feel that Charlie Kirk was conservative enough. Maybe it was because that Charlie Kirk was actually calling for the release of the files with no redactions in them. Pardon me, drink break. we don't know the true motive. The only thing that we know so far is just that the kid, Tyler Robinson, I believe is the name, just said he didn't like Charlie Kirk. But so many times, they painted a picture of a they. How many times did you hear people say they? They. There is no they. There was only the one. One did the action, not a they. But that hasn't stopped them from trying to paint a picture. Charlie Kirk's wife, even after the individual was caught, still went out of her way and say they will face justice. There is no they. There is no they. There is only a one. I don't know if she's trying to, pay tribute to her husband in some way by still keeping people separated. But even after all of it, it is still trying to paint a picture of they, keeping us separated, divided, and hateful. I'm sick and tired of so many people trying to paint Charlie Kirk as some good guy. He wasn't. Just like, I'll make the comparison here. When Hulk Hogan passed away, I wasn't a fan of Hulk Hogan. I wasn't a real some like Hulkamaniac. No, not really. But I knew what he had done for professional wrestling, which if you know me, you know I'm a fan of that. But I didn't really feel anything. It's complicated. Hulk Hogan also lived a hateful life behind the scenes. And it makes you, it's hard. Charlie Kirk, yes, was a father, was a husband, and maybe a good father, maybe a good husband. I don't know anything about his personal life. But I know that I've seen the things that he has said. And it has not brought people together. You see, we have differences of opinions, sure. Some people argue, does pineapple belong on pizza? Is that okay to have? That's a difference of opinion. When you're talking about keeping people separated because of your hatred and your racism, your homophobia, your transphobia, simply because you hate these groups, for me, that's just you remaining hateful. It's you keeping divided. It's you just being afraid of people. I don't understand that type of, I'm just speaking my mind. That's a difference of opinion. For me, I can't understand that difference of opinion. I will never want to understand that difference of opinion. I can never understand how you can be so racist and hateful in your life. And there's a way that I can probably phrase it better, but you know what? For the life of me, I just can't think of it. You have your freedom of speech, and this is how you choose to use it. You choose to create chaos. You choose to be hateful, racist, homophobic, transphobic. You choose to live that type of life. So pardon us when we're not going to feel sympathy for someone who claimed that empathy is weakness. When you have someone who is so hateful and has caused so much division and racism, pardon us if we're not going to feel sad that someone like that is gone from this world. You see, two things can be the same. I was not upset at the loss of Charlie Kirk's life. You know what I was upset about? I was upset of the action that took place, because it was another pop-off. It was another action by that type of violence. While on that day, another school shooting occurred. And on that day, I don't believe I heard there were any casualties. but it was just more thoughts and prayers. That's all it is. But when someone like Charlie Kirk leaves this world, suddenly that one life has meant more than the hundreds of lives that have been taken away. God, probably what, maybe thousands? I don't know. That one might be an exaggeration. But you have to understand the frustration that we feel because so many people paint that picture of Charlie Kirk as, oh my God, now we can talk about it. Now we can, but it wasn't time before. And I'm someone who's like, fine, is that the final straw? Can we finally talk about gun reform now? Or is it only thoughts and prayers? That is how I have viewed. That's the first thought that I had, is that this is enough. Like, you never cared about the loss of children. It was always thoughts and prayers. But now it's happened to someone on your side, MAGA. Is it enough? Is it enough now? That is my question. And then one thing that I said as well too, is I said that, you know what I want? For those of you who said we're going to war with you all now, you on the left, you Democrats, for what you did, when we didn't do a single damn thing. I said I wanted an apology. I'm never going to get that. Instead, they have used this moment in time to still call for violence against the left. Donald Trump has still gone out of his way to say it's radical left. Because this is what they want. They don't want to unite. They want us separated, hateful, and they want this country divided still. They want the chaos, and they want the violence. But guess what? Whenever these pop-offs take place, 9 times out of 10, it's always them. The first attempt on Trump, Republican. The second attempt, which was not even really anything, just some guy hiding in the woods or in the bushes, Republican. What happened to Charlie Kirk? Republican. Though, let me walk that back a little bit. Never had an official side, never an official, whether it was Republican or Democrat. Came from a conservative household, and apparently it said he didn't think Charlie Kirk was conservative enough. So do with that what you will. It's not us. It's not us. So let me end with this before this video gets too long. I'm trying to do my best to kind of make short videos if I possibly can. But I have a motor mouth. Charlie Kirk was not a good person. I still give my sympathy to his wife. Even though she went out of her way to say they will face justice when there was no they. But I will give you my empathy because of the fact that what happened to your husband was terrible. I will give my sympathy, my empathy to your children because they should not have seen their father go out like that. It was wrong. It was wrong. What happened to Charlie Kirk was wrong. But understand this. He was no hero. He was no hero for saying some of the awful things that he said. And I understand that you guys out there want to say he was just speaking his mind. Donald Trump speaks his mind. It's a hateful mind. It's a mind that keeps us divided, hated, a racist mind. Do you know who else spoke his mind? Mustache Man. And I'm not trying to make the comparisons right there, but I want you to understand that just because you speak your mind doesn't make you a good person. You could say the same for me if you wish. I like to think that I am a good person, but you need to understand that just because you speak your mind, it doesn't mean that you're a good person. What do you do with your power of your voice? What do you do with speaking your mind? Do you work to unite, or do you work for hate, separation, division, and racism? What do you do with that power of your voice? Charlie Kirk made his choices in life on what he did with that type of power, with his voice. And again, I will say it again, he didn't deserve to go out the way he did. He was wrong. But he was not a hero. He wasn't a hero.